am live, to quote Benny Hill. Big deal. Now I'm live, reconnecting, because for some reason Google's freaking Play Store keeps bringing itself to life no matter what I'm doing. I'm really about fed up with technology, I want to tell you. My earlier video, which I had said after I had gone through and checked through the comments to see what folks had to say, you know, there might be some things I need to reply to. You never know. I didn't even get finished with all that, and I got not one, not two, not even 3 emails, but 4 emails letting me know that that video was being claimed for copyright violation. I didn't know that, but I kind of suspected that would be the outcome, which was my reason for wanting to just go ahead and take it down. Well, I know a lot of people have music in the background of their videos when they live stream, but they have it down so low it's barely audible. And this truck being noisy like it is, even to be just barely audible, it still has to have some kind of volume to it. So, anyhow, whatever. $49W, intersection of 49W and US 82. Turning off US 82 onto 49W, headed north. About 2.5 hours to Memphis, give or take. Now, baby, how you can be... Oh, you're listening, okay. My wife has just advised me that she's part of my live stream, even though she's currently driving from our home in Melbourne, Arkansas to Memphis, Tennessee. But she said, I'm just listening, okay. Those of you who know about my wreck a little more than a year ago, the use of technology while driving is a big concern to me. So, and although I was not texting right at that moment, I was texting 2 minutes earlier. My dispatcher and I were texting. It was 2 miles. You know, 2 minutes is 60 miles an hour. I'm doing 65 miles. It's 2 minutes later at the time of impact, so that's 2 miles later. But nonetheless, that'll be one of the things they'll use to try to say that it was less than 2 miles. The thing about it is it's time stamped. They can't debate the time stamp. But nonetheless, so yeah, that just kind of really threw me for a curve earlier. I was going to take it down anyway, because I realized just like I do when I drive, I'll hear a really good song. I'm like, oh, I like that, turn it up, but I always forget to turn it back down. So then now I'm listening at a new volume. And then later, another good song will come on. I'm like, oh, I love that song. I'll turn it up. Before it's all said and done, I got the volume maxed out. Ah, well. I don't care if they delete. I mean, I care if they delete my channel. I guess that was I don't care, comma. If they delete my channel, I'll just start over. There are many more mics to live. One mic to live, another mic to live, mic to live again. Name it. And one of the emails actually listed all the songs, named all the songs and artists that played. And I know that song list because I'm the one who put it together. I've listened to that same song list for years. I've had that phone a long time. And I've been listening to those songs for years on that phone. I don't think they missed the one. Yeah. Oh well. Disclaimer for those of you who might wander across this and have never seen this before. I appreciate them bright lights, dude. I appreciate anybody coming by. I truly do. But just the main purpose of this is so that if someone decides to do some brake checking or some other form of road rage in front of me and I can't stop, end up in an accident, I can prove first off that I wasn't on my phone, because my phone is clamped to the little deal on the windshield above the dashboard. And secondly, it proves that I wasn't tailgating somebody and got rear-ended. So that's the reason for this. So I know some folks might be like, man, I can't see nothing, it's dark out there. And I understand, you barely see in the headlights. A little bit better when I got my high beams on, but obviously I'm not going to go blinding people just so I can light the road up a little better. Even now, there's nobody coming at me now, nobody. But I've still got that one car in front of me. Y'all can barely see his taillights, but you can't see them. I'm looking at everything y'all look at. If I look down at the screen above my steering wheel right there at the dash. But, you know, I'm not going to blind the guy just so I can light the road up. So, if somebody was to suddenly just pass me, jump in front of me, it'll show how close they were, because now I have two sets of headlights lighting up the street as they pass me. And then as they jump in front of me, my headlights will be lighting them up, because now the headlights directly in front of me aren't shining on them. They got to reach out their little ways to shine on the ground. You know, the closer you get to the truck, the higher the headlights are, about 3 feet or maybe even 4. About 3.5 anyway, up above the ground. The head level of where the headlights are at is about 3.5 feet above the ground. So when someone pulls their car off in front of me, their car with all that shiny metal paint is going to, even if their car is dirty, it's still going to light up like a Christmas tree in those headlights. And then now I can put the light in front of me of someone's house. That car, he's off to my right, but here, another car coming, so I'll turn it back down. But anyhow, and then of course once they hit the brakes, their brake lights are going to come on. And that'll all be captured right here on film for law enforcement to see. And even if well, if their brake lights don't work, well, if their brake lights don't work, I got no way of knowing they're stopping until I've hit them, or until they've disappeared from view a moment before I hit them. And in such a case, I wouldn't be at fault anyway. It'd be their fault for driving down the road with no brake lights. Either way, I need this camera to help protect me. Any of y'all that watched the one I did earlier today, I had to remove it, so there's no way to go watch it again now. But there was a guy made a right lane change right in front of me, and had he stopped to make the right turn on the side street that I was expecting him to, there's no way I'd have been able to stop. The roadway was wet, and I'm empty. I mean, I've got a trailer, but I don't have any weight on the trailer. I just would have slid until I clobbered it, no matter how hard I hit the brakes. And that, of course, would make for a bad situation. But that, having the live stream would have protected me. So that's why I do this, even when it's dark outside. And I appreciate, there was 20-some people come through that live stream earlier today. I think 22, I think there was 22 people come by, and not all at the same time. Some come and go, and that's fine. 'Cause, you know, no, I don't expect anybody to sit around here for 3 and 4 hours while I drive down the road and look at what you're seeing now with the intermittent moments of me speaking. So that was the idea of having some background music. And the email they sent me, one of those emails actually said, hey, if you absolutely have to put music to your videos, we have music you can add to your videos. Yes, if they're videos that you've recorded and then are uploading to YouTube via your cell phone, there is a little music icon, a little piece of music note like what you see on sheet music. I don't know what it is. It'd be like 2 quarter notes with a little ribbon connecting them. And you can hit that, and there's bunches of different music to choose from. But I didn't see any such option to do that from a live stream. So, meanwhile, all the crying going on. I think what it is, and it was less than 10 minutes that from the time that posted to the time that or time it was processed, whatever you want to say, completed, I guess. It was less than 10 minutes from the time that it was completed to the time that I got an email telling me that I had violated YouTube's copyright rules and what have you. So I'm thinking that there's some, and no, I'm not talking about conspiracy, so don't go the wrong way with this, but I'm thinking there's some kind of a supercomputer. It would take more than just a typical laptop or desktop to do this. It's some kind of a computer program that every single time music is introduced onto social media, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, wherever, that computer recognizes if it's something that's already been copyrighted. You see, here's the thing that, and this just pisses me off. Imagine that you work all week long and you're working for a paycheck. All right, you got that paycheck coming. It's yours. You earned it. And let's say your work is not just merely showing up on time doing what you're told, but let's say your work is creating something. Now, you're going to get your name attached to it. Let's say you're creating a statue or a nice painting to go inside, a piece of framed artwork to go to a gallery. It's going to have your name on it. But meanwhile, your boss put the money up front for the supplies you need to make that painting or that statue or whatever it is. And so he's going to have you sign a contract when you hire in with him, saying that whatever you do, so long as you're doing it under his employ, while you're doing it basically under his name, he gets a portion of the proceeds that are technically, in my mind, are rightfully yours. He gets a portion of your wages for no other reason. It'd be like leasing your truck on, if you're an owner-operator, you know, truck driver, and you lease your truck on with, let's just say, JB Hunt. Well, JB Hunt, they pay the bills. They're going to pay, now all that gets taken out, don't get me wrong, it all gets taken out of your check. You're in the end, you're still paying for the insurance, you're still paying for maintenance, but they're putting the money up front. Of course, they're going to make money back on that. So in my opinion, that cancels itself out, but no, it's not good enough. You're running under their authority, and they're going to make money for that too. So they get as much as 25, maybe, I've some companies, as much as 28%. Of your money. That's a lot of money just to let me help make you your living while I drive my truck and while I pay all the bills for maintaining it. So same thing with you, if you're the artist and you've created this real nice painting and you got your name signed in it down there in the corner, and that's it. You got paid for that, whatever it was that we were agreed on for your wage. You got to go ahead and put your name on there and take credit for it. But your boss at the gallery who required you to do that, he's going to take all the credit for your work. A lot of you might be saying, what the hell he is. Yes, man, yes he is. He most certainly is going to take credit for your work. It's the same thing as publishing a book. You know who gets most money for the book? Not the author. The publisher. The author says, man, I'm going to write a book. It's going to be about this and this and that and that. What's that worth to you? It's going to be a novel, and it's going to have X amount of pages and so much different kind of story changes where the not a good place to park, dude. Just saying. You have all kinds of plot twists and whatever else, and so the publisher says, well, run me down the outline of it. Let me hear the storyline. So you run the storyline by him, and he's like, oh man, that's gonna be a good book. Tell you what, I'll give you so much money up front. You go home and you get that book, bro. You come back, and I'll give you this amount for your book. Now you're still going to be the author. You're still going to be the guy or girl, whoever, that has your picture on the back inside flat. You're still going to be the guy or girl who has your name, like Danielle Steele or whoever, Tom Clancy. You're going to have your name on that book that you wrote. But you got your check for $25,000, $60,000, $100,000, whatever it was that you agreed to. That's it. That's all the money you get. The publisher, he's going to go off and he's going to find every creative way he can to promote that book. And in doing so, he's going to bring in all kinds of sales. That, depending on your contract, you may get a piece of, you may not. I don't know. I guess that all, like I said, depending on your contract, changes from one publisher to another. But meanwhile, you don't even own your own book anymore. You can still go out and promote it. You can still go out and have autograph signings and things as the author that you are, and based on that. But in fact, I imagine sometimes the publishing company will have those set up and require you to do it whether you want to or not. But in the end, they're going to make wealth off of your efforts. You got paid, sure, but they're going to keep getting paid. And this is what happens when a songwriter sits down and writes a song. They get credit for the band, from the band that decides, hey, we want to record that song of yours. All right, well, how much will you give me? And they buy it. That's it. No matter how much record sales that song gets, it's not because J.J. Cale is such a great songwriter, and he is. It's because everyone loves the way Eric Clapton sings his song. Which he and Eric Clapton have collaborated together on a lot of stuff. As have he and B.B. King, as have he and countless names of artists. I believe even he and Merle Haggard had a collaboration together. He and Willie Nelson. But when J.J. Cale gets paid, let's say in this case by Eric Clapton, that's it. That's all he gets. Meanwhile, when Eric Clapton goes to the record label and he gets paid, it's the same thing. Now, he might get royalties off the album sales, but the record company, which is basically a publisher, they're the ones who are going to get rich. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not going to get the fame, but they're not doing it for the fame, they're doing it for the money. They don't care. It's not their hotel that anybody's busting down to break in and steal a piece of your clothing, you know. They don't have to deal with all that. That's all the superstar that has to deal with that. All they want is the money. They don't want the headaches that go with it. So that just bothers me, the fact that in this case it's not even the record label, because there's records, songs that have been recorded on the RCA label, Virgin label. There's so many different record companies out there anymore that like the Sony Music Group, which used to be SMG, And then it was SEC, which was or SEG, which is the Sony Entertainment Group. Now there's UMG. I don't even know what that is, but I'm pretty sure somehow, some way, it reports back to Sony. And claim, for all intents and purposes, a monopoly that they own every piece of recorded music everywhere and anywhere. They remind me, these people in the music business, they remind me of them, and y'all have to follow me to see where I'm going with this, and you'll get it. They remind me of the movie Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner, Christian Slater, I can't remember all the people in there. But anyway, y'all remember the movie. And what was it? Late 80s, early 90s, something like that. Mid 90s, I don't know. But early 90s, I think. Anyway, there's a scene where Friar Tuck wanders in to see the main priest of Nottingham, and he catches him with all these gold coins and all this money and everything, and he realizes the priest is packing because he's leaving. And Friar Tuck, of course, if you're going to buy Friar Tuck, you ain't going to be able to do it with money, even though the money can buy beer. No, if you're going to buy Friar Tuck, it's going to have to be beer. So, true to the character that he played, he goes to the priest. He says, well, here, let me help you pack, Your Eminence. And he's taking all them coins and all that money. Man, you want to make sure you have all this with you where you're going. You're going to need it. And helps him straight to a nearby window. You're going to need it on your way to hell. And out the window he goes. Except, all that money, although it might make life a little more comfortable in this realm, it's worthless in the next realm. A lot of people, oh man, when I die, I'm gonna live such a bad life that when I go to hell, I'm gonna rule. No, you're not. I won't start talking of such things, but yeah, that's not how it works. So, but yeah, that's what they're making a living off the efforts of artists. And that, I mean, that would be like, let's say the people who, they call them bucket musicians. You'll see them in New York City, you'll see them in subway stations and train stations, bus stations, all over the country, city parks, just wherever. You'll see people that are got their guitar case open, either standing up or sitting with a guitar on a strap, or they're sitting down with a guitar on their thigh, singing and playing on a public street. Just trying to make some kind of money, you know, put some food on the table, because right now times are hard. Yeah. And imagine that all of a sudden a representative of the city, which could be anybody from a police officer all the way on up to the whoever that is, the right-hand man for the mayor, comes along and says, okay, I've seen you sitting here all day, and we need X amount of money from you. It'd be like the crime syndicates where either you pay them for protection or you'll wish you did, you know? And the funny thing is, the people who you're paying them to protect you from is them. There's been no crime in the community where you're at, but if you don't pay the protection, they're going to burn your store down, that kind of thing. And imagine being told you're barely getting by. Maybe you've been there 6 hours today, and during that 6 hours, maybe you've made $100. But whoever that is, representative of the city, is telling you it's going to cost you $250 for having stood there without a permit. And if you do get a permit, who's to, you know, try to actually go through the process and do it in a more law-abiding way, who's to say how much it's still going to cost you more than what you might make? You know, if any of them artists that were on that song list today were to have an issue with me playing one of their songs and bringing back some old memories for some folks, which I believe would get people saying, oh man, I'm gonna have to go download that. Of course, most of it, if you download, you're paying a monthly service to be able to download all you want, and that's how you're able to legally download copyrighted music. And but they can say, hey man, we really don't want you doing that, because I think if anything it would help to promote that stuff, because a lot of people hear these songs and they're songs long gone and forgotten. But yeah, that kind of just rubs me the wrong way that they're come up here not even 10 minutes after I went ahead and finalized that and uploaded it as a video, that not even 10 minutes later they're sending me 4 different emails telling me that I'm violating their YouTube's copyright policy. I don't remember if it was sent from YouTube or if it was sent from Google. I don't remember. Of course, since it was already my intention to remove it, I just went ahead and deleted the emails. I never even opened them. But you know, you can read the first couple lines without opening them, so that's how I know what the content was. Oh, anyway. I like them high beams, dude. You could always just go ahead and fix that one headlight instead of blinding people. Oh wait, why would I want to do that? I am in, what is this? This is Rule, R-U-L-E, Ruleville. I didn't know that. Ruleville, Mississippi. This stop sign right here, I came through here one day in the opposite direction, and this is why I believe being on cell phones is wrong no matter what. People say, well, as long as you're not texting, or if you go hands-free. No, that's still not enough. That's a good-looking police car right there. Sometimes you get on the phone, and especially if you're having a heated argument, which if you're involved in a relationship is likely with a lot of folks. Miss Elaine and I, the mama, we don't argue. We just, I don't try to control her, she don't try to control me, and because of that, there's just a whole lot less to argue about. A lot of if you really think about it, a lot of the things, if you're one to argue, a lot of the things you'll end up arguing about is trying to convert someone else's opinion to match your own. Especially in relationships, marriage, and dating and all. The argument is because there's 2 different people with 2 different opinions. May or may not always agree with each other. Yeah, there's times I'm sure she'd like to take a 2x4 and crack me across the head until I start seeing things her way. You know? Vice versa. You know, there's times I don't agree with her all the time either. But in the end, you know, well, if you start getting overbearing and making all these demands on each other, you'll eventually get to that point that you'll start despising each other, and we don't want that, so we don't try to control each other. We, in the end, just the old saying is to agree to disagree. I mean, we never actually come out, okay, fine, I guess we'll just agree to disagree. We never actually say that, but that's basically the idea of it. It's okay, you're going to do your own thing regardless of what I say, so I guess I just won't even bother trying to force my opinion on you. That's how I do. nothing wrong, but meanwhile he's right there on your ass. When that one made the left turn in front of me off that side road, there was another one that pulled out right behind me. And I guess that's where the police station is right there. So I'm sure this cop's probably just minding his own business, getting his evening started. But when they're right on your ass, you can't help but keep looking in your mirror and see what they're up to, because if they're going to pull you over, you want to make sure you pull over as soon as the lights come on. I had one day give me a big old butt chewing because I wasn't really doing anything wrong, so I didn't bother to ease up any. I'll just wait until I got a place that I felt was safe to pull over. And he didn't like that one bit. I guess that wasn't no cop. I sure thought it was. The way he come, yeah, they'll do, because the only ones who completely disregard the speed limit is the police. Most folks try to keep it at least within some kind of a tolerance. Police don't care. They'll drive 30 mile an hour over the limit to a school zone and not think twice about it. I've seen video of that. The guy who owned his own radar gun clocking a cop, because the cop would do it every day at lunchtime coming through there. But yeah, the guy come flying up behind me and got right up on my ass. So I thought, okay, I'm about to get pulled over for something. I ain't doing nothing wrong. Inside here, my screen is just about black. I'm like y'all, I can barely see anything but a little stripe of asphalt in front of me that my headlights are lighting up. Of course, my GPS has more light shining on this, and that screen, you know, at a certain time, I don't know if it just uses an electric eye, or if it just knows such and such a time is the official time for daylight and darkness. But anyway, the screen goes black at a certain time, and then at a certain time in the morning, the screen will go back to being beige again. I try not to get more than 5 over. Everybody pretty well just 5 over. There is not an unwritten rule saying the police will tolerate 5 over, because they won't. There's some who just don't care, but that doesn't mean all police don't care. That just means there's some. You gotta remember, police officers are just human beings, just like the rest of us. Although sometimes you gotta wonder things you read about in the news. But not everybody does the same quality of work. You know, whatever your job is. If you're a machinist or a welder, a pipe fitter, you know, there's some that put more effort into doing a better job at what the job is they do than some of their coworkers. That's the way it is. So the police are no different. You got some who take their job serious. But I'll tell you about 5 over the limit. What the police are doing now. Safer than walking down the shoulder anyway. Well, anyway, back to 3 years, I suppose. 3 or 4. I've gotten pulled over by the DOT for no other reason than doing 5 over the speed limit. Of course, once I seen him, I took my foot off the throttle, but by then he already had me locked in at 5 over. So he pulls over, his driver, my name's Trooper such and such, and yada yada yada, and this, that, and the other. Once was in Tennessee, and once was in Alabama. Well, I'm going to do a level 2, which is a roadside inspection. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 3 is where they're going to look at your paperwork and nothing else. They're going to look at your logbook, they're going to look at your bill of lading, they're going to look at all the permits and insurance and registration and everything for the truck. Assuming all your ducks are in a row, they're gonna, it doesn't matter what, you got one of your high beams that aren't working, they'll never know. Brake light that doesn't light up when you tap them, they won't know. All they're gonna do is, on a level 3 is paperwork. 2 plus other items. On a level 2, they're gonna look to make sure all your lights work. They're gonna look, make sure there's no oil or antifreeze, any axle grease or gear, make sure there's nothing leaking. They're gonna look at your overall connections. They're gonna listen real close for air leaks, where your air lines connect to the trailer, plus throughout the truck and trailer where all the airlines run. They're gonna be listening for air leaks, and now if they hear an air leak, then they're gonna have to look a little more. Oh, that water's up on the road right there. They're gonna, on the other side, they're gonna look at more stuff, but they're not just gonna whip out a creeper and a pair of coveralls and go bumper to bumper from the greasy side up. So they look at these other items, look to make sure that there's no loose lug nuts, which they can tell because if you see some rust dripping down on the aluminum rims where the lug nuts are at, then that means there's water able to get between the lug nut and the wheel, which means the lug nut is loose. So, but that's all the farther they're going to go. And if that passes, then no issue. They'll look at all your paperwork and then do these other items. A level 1 is where they look at every possible thing they can look at on this truck. Bumper to bumper from the greasy side up. And on a level 1, they do that first. Then they'll go do all your paperwork. And that's where the guy comes up with a creeper, coveralls, or a lot of now truckers, what we call super coops. Your weigh stations are what we call chicken coops. Where they're going to weigh your chickens, see? So, you see a lot of these now that have a small barn, or some of them have a pretty good sized barn. Like out in California, that barn has 6 or 8 doors. And what they'll do is they'll pull a truck in there. It's like bringing your car to Jiffy Lube to have the oil changed. They have a guy in a pit down there, and that's all he's going to do. He's the coveralls, and he's going to look at everything from one side to the other, starting with the front, going left, right, all the way to the back. And believe me, they're not doing this just so that, well, okay, you seem like a decent guy, not trying to cause no trouble, I'll cut you some slack. Nope. They're going to write you up for everything they can find. If it means putting you out of service, then oh well. That's how it works. And the DOT can make for a bad day. Well, when they pull you over to do an inspection on it, accept me. Mississippi doesn't need a reason. The DOT doesn't need a reason to pull over. They can just pull you over and say, driver, I'm going to follow me up here to this turn lane, and I'm going to do a level 2 inspection on you. Alabama and everywhere else, if they pull you over because you are doing something that caused them to pull you over, so while they've got you here, let's go ahead and do an inspection while we're at it. And that's what they're doing, and they've done in Tennessee and in Alabama with me in the past. I said, well, driver, I've clocked you doing 5 miles over the limit, and I'm thinking, really? That's what you're pulling me over for? 5 miles over? Ooh, hardened criminal, you know? Because usually they'd have let you go for that. And they said, well, today's your lucky day. I'm going to let you go on the speed, and then I'm going to go ahead and do while I got you here, I'm going to do a level 2 inspection. Man, I'd rather have the speed ticket. So, alright, someone's there, but I can't tell who it is. They got a green icon, whoever they are. So anyway, you know, they're going to pull you over, they're going to look at your logbook, they're going to, oh, I'm at Parchment already. Alright, this is where I pick up them big fish tanks from, the big old fish breeding tanks that, I'm not even sure where they go. For now, we take them out to my boss's farm until they're ready to accept them wherever they're being shipped to. they get them built here, but they got no place to store them. So we take them out to the boss's farm, which of course he charges them for that. Well, I would too. And then whenever they need them shipped to where they're supposed to go, then he'll go ahead and load it up. He's got his own crane there. Load them back up and ship them the rest of the way wherever it is they're supposed to be going to. But for now, we haul these. If you happen to be in the office on any given day, I need you to go down Parchment and pick up such a trailer. You already know that means bobtail down there, pick the trailer up, and take it out to the boss's farm. And anyway, that's on my left here. That's what this is. This is that prison in Parchment, Mississippi. And on my right, directly across from the entrance to that prison, is a gravel lot where we'll find those trailers and pick them up, bring them back to Byhalia, Mississippi. So. But anyhow, that's what the cops will be like. I'm going to do you a favor and let you slide because you were doing 5 over the limit, and then going to write you up for everything they can find in that level 2 inspection. That's crazy. In Mississippi, what they'll do, and they'll get mad if they pull you over and they're pointing and everything else. You know, I've got CB radio now, but some of the time trucks I've driven, I didn't bother putting CB radio in them. And these radios cost money. And if you work for a company that they can't keep their equipment secure when you're home and off duty, and you always come back and hear about 1 or more drivers had their trucks broken into right there on the yard. So yeah, you don't want to keep much in the truck if you don't have to. One time this cop, he's trying to pull me over, and I don't have. He's pointing, waving his radio at me. So I'll turn my radio on so he can tell me to follow him up to the turn lane. But I didn't have a radio in that truck. So then he goes ahead and pulls up in the turn lane. I pull up to the shoulder. And he's up there making all kinds of hand gestures. I mean, violent hand gestures, like, bring your ass over here right now, that kind of thing. You know, and waving his arms violently, whatever else, trying to get my attention. I'm just sitting there waiting for him to stop acting a fool and come over here where I'm at. So, and Mississippi is still one of the states that has DOT on the side of the car. More and more, Tennessee got rid of their DOT, Illinois got rid of their DOT, that now all the state troopers are DOT. And that kind of is still the case with Mississippi, but Mississippi still has cars that are strictly DOT. You'd insult them by calling them a state trooper. And, because they think they're better than that. But water over, road ahead. Alright, maybe I might want to slow down for that. It may have receded, I don't know, as much as it's rained lately. Right down the left. Just about all the way out to the yellow line there. Well, here it is out to the yellow line. You see that? Probably not. It's dark out, but that's water right there. All these farm fields are flooded. But anyway, that dude finally comes over there, and I was bobtail, so they love messing around with bobtail trucks because it doesn't take no time to do an inspection on a bobtail truck, and it still counts as an inspection. You know, it shows that they're doing their job. It turns out, I found out from a trooper one day, they're required to do so many inspections a month. It shows that they're it was an Illinois trooper who told me that they're required to do so many inspections a month. That shows they're actually earning their keep. So, but unlike other states where they have to wait for you to mess up and then do an inspection while they got you pulled over for something else, Mississippi could just pick you out of the crowd and decide, I think I'm going to do an inspection on this one right here. For no other reason, maybe that the truck's dirty and he just don't, I don't know. Whatever. He's just in the mood. Maybe he just don't like blue. The truck you're in is blue, he's pulling you over. I don't know. I can't figure out motive, people. When you dim yours, I don't do that flashing. I'll flash mine on and off to tell you you've left yours on. Nope. You're gonna have your high beams on, I'm going to turn my high beams on. And when you turn yours off, I'll turn mine off. Or after I've passed you, whichever comes first. I knew I'd passed my driver's test, so I wasn't too worried about when that one question came up. Because the correct answer, which years ago, that's what they would teach us to do in driver's ed. You just flash your high beams twice, and if that doesn't work, flash them again. And if that doesn't work, you just suck it up. Well, now, no, you don't flash your lights at all. You just suck it up. That's the correct answer. So I answered it honestly. Turn my high beams on and leave them on until they dim theirs. Yes, that's exactly what I did. Someone would say, well, that'll cause a wreck. Well, so will that other asshole who won't dim his high beams. How is it okay for him, but I'm the bad guy? No. So I know a lot of people seem to think that Memphis is home of the blues. And I guess you have to wonder the definition of the word home. And there's all kinds of houses underwater over here on my right. Wow. What they call slab houses, just a concrete pad on the ground, no basement or nothing, just concrete pad on the ground with a house on it. Lots of houses I just passed underwater. People still got the lights on though. But anyhow, if the idea is that the blues has moved to Memphis and that's where it now lives as a tourist attraction, then yes, Memphis is home of the blues. However, the blues didn't come from Memphis. The blues come from Mississippi. And a lot of people will be surprised when you say this, because a lot of times when you say the Delta, they tend to think of southern Mississippi, lower Mississippi, the bottom half of the state, however you want to say it. But anywhere along the river, depending on how you look at it, can be the Delta. And oh man, there's so many of these fields that are flooded and people's yards that are flooded. One more rain, folks are going to have to vacate. But anyhow, hell, one more rain, they'll be closing down this road. Come on around me, man. I don't care. Make your move. Better do it quick. This car coming. Well, that wasn't quick enough. You might want to duck back in there. A lot of folks aren't aware of a little town called Clarksdale, Mississippi, which is right up the road from where I'm at right now. I'm right here at 50 or 49 rather. It'll zigzag right here. Kind of cuts off to my west a little bit, then goes back north again. And I forget what the crossroad is. But anyways, not far from here to the west is Clarksdale, Mississippi. Now Clarksdale is known for a lot of things. One thing that Clarksdale is known for is the undisputed home of the blues. Because Memphis can't compete with what Clarksdale got going on. See, there's the crossroads. A lot of folks are familiar with the story of the crossroads. In fact, there's a movie called Crossroads. It stars, what was his name? Route 3, that's what this is. 49 and Route 3. Route 3 runs east and west right here, and then 49 runs north and south, kind of zigzags along the way. But anyway, Ralph Macchiosi, I don't know, it's an Italian name, whatever it is. And he gets a job working in a nursing home so he can meet his blues hero that happens to be a resident of the nursing home. Wanting this guy who's basically supposed to be the elderly Robert Johnson. The Robert Johnson. And went down to the crossroads to meet the devil, sold his soul to become the greatest blues musician ever, that Robert Johnson. And so this old man who's playing that part is actually, if I remember correctly though, they don't give him the name Robert Johnson. I think they give him the name of Willie Taylor or something like that. But anyhow, they he tells I'm trying to remember what his name was, but he used to have Happy Days for a little while. Anyway, when they tell him the Karate Kid, that's the guy I'm thinking, the guy who played the Karate Kid. So he tells me there the largest secret of being this blues musician. And so the guy in the nursing home tells him, well, if you want to know, you're going to have to bust me out of here. He's tired of being poked and prodded and medicine shoved down his throat and whatever else. And what it is he's sickly and he thinks maybe he's dying. And of course, if he's dying, then the debt comes due. The devil gets his soul. So he goes down to the crossroads. And that's what the whole thing about being broken out of the nursing home was. He's too old to drive anymore. And he goes down to the crossroads to meet the devil because he wants to get his soul back. And Stevie Vai and the kid, that's the Karate Kid, at the end of the movie, there's like a 10-minute guitar duel. One of the best scenes in movies ever. But anyway, that happened as a legend. No one can really say that it's a fact or not. But the crossroads in question is right smack dab in the middle of Clarksdale, Mississippi. In fact, I've got a picture of that on my Instagram account. As I come through there one day, there's a barbecue joint called Abe's right there on the corner. And the way that crossroad is marked is with I think there's 3 different guitars, so that no matter which direction you're coming from, you can see that. And it is the crossroads, made famous by the legend of Robert Johnson. So now, like I said, it's just a legend. Nobody can say if it's true or not, but everyone's got their own beliefs. But nonetheless, that's helped make Clarksdale famous, literally put the city on the map, known for blues. And the difference, if you ever get a chance to listen to some of the blues musicians that play Clarksdale versus some of the blues musicians that play in Memphis, is the difference like eating Mexican food at Taco Bell as compared to going down to Douglas, Arizona, eating right on the border at a Mexican restaurant down there, at a genuine Mexican restaurant. There's the difference. Memphis blues would be Taco Bell, whereas Clarksdale blues would be a genuine Mexican restaurant. It's the real deal. And it's not so tourist, although there are tourists that go to Clarksdale. But if any of y'all seen that movie Black Snake Moan with Samuel L. Jackson and Christina Ricci, however was their name, I say Richie. But anyhow, if you remember that the whole idea of the movie, there's 2 things that really stand out about the storyline of the movie. One is that Samuel L. Jackson finds this white girl out in the road half dead and brings her into his house, changes her up, and kind of helps save her from herself to detox her, get all the drugs and alcohol out of her system, and basically ain't setting her free until he's accomplished that. The other is that he is a retired blues musician that pretty well just giving it up. So by her coming into his life, she revitalizes some of the music within him, and he starts playing the blues again, puts guitar out from under the bed and all, and decides, let's go, we're going to go down to a tavern and we're going to blues it up. Well, the name of the title of the movie, like it says, Black Snake Moan, and there's a song that I'm assuming is the word blues, but the Black Snake Moan Blues. I don't know if it has an actual title to it or not, because I've never come across the soundtrack yet. But anyway, that title track, Black Snake Moan, he reaches way up under the bed and pulls out his favorite guitar, which is this bright red, beautiful, semi-hollow blues jumbo. And by jumbo, I mean it's got a bigger guitar body than most guitars do, which is a lot of the blues guitars and even the country guitars had back then. And he's singing this song, and if you notice, note for note, he's not making any mistakes at all. I'm one of these people, when I watch movies, I watch all the credits roll. And I don't care if I'm in a theater, because to me, who wants to get with all that traffic trying to get out of the theater all at once? Wait for all them fools to leave, then I can just go out and leave with no traffic at all. So I go ahead and I read the credits, every last bit of it. If I miss something, obviously I can't say, hey, turn that back. I miss it, but I sit through the credits rolling. And actually, I've learned some pretty interesting things from watching the credits roll. Movie after movie through the years. But even at the house, watching it on DVD, I watch the credits roll. One thing I was curious about was whether or not that was actually Samuel L. Jackson playing, or whenever they cut to the close-ups, if it was some other black gentleman playing, making it therefore look like it was Samuel L. Jackson playing. Well, you're not going to find that out in the credits, but I owned the DVD. I don't know if I still do or not. There goes fucking... People can take a store, stick it up their ass. Tired of that shit. I do it. I don't need you reminding me. Interrupting anything I'm doing, because Google seems to think whatever's going on with the apps on my phone and their Play Store is more important than anything else. Anyhow, your DVDs always have extra chapters that you can scroll to off the menu and get behind the scenes stuff about the movie. So a little story for those of you who may have watched the movie but don't know about all the other stuff that came along with it. Samuel L. Jackson appeared in a movie before this movie called The Spirit. Now, I've never seen it. Previews show him in a really big furry coat with one of those big furry hats like people that live in the Ukraine and certain parts of Russia and wherever else might wear. And I'm not really sure how that even ties into the movie, but that's the way he was dressed in the previews, and that's all I can tell you. Anyway, while he was filming that movie, he was approached by whichever studio. Hey there, Brother Mike. Now, I did notice that one. So, while he was filming that movie, he was approached by whichever film studio was making Black Snake Moan, and they asked him if he'd do the part. So after reading the script and everything else, getting with his agent or his manager or whoever, said, yes, I will. Here's the problem. Samuel L. Jackson at the time was not a guitar player. Knew nothing about guitar at all, didn't know how to play. So they said, well, we need you to start taking some lessons. So while he's still filming The Spirit, every evening going back to his trailer and meet with his guitar teacher, personal guitar teacher, that was teaching him to play guitar. Just the whole theory and notes and frets and chords and picking and the whole 9 yards. So then when he finishes the movie, they bring him to Memphis, because it wasn't very far outside Memphis, Stanton, Tennessee, 40 miles away. Actually about 30 miles from the city limits, is where a good portion of that movie was filmed. And I know that because I happen to go through that area all the time, so I happen to look that up in the little part on the DVD that's attached also, you know, the behind the scenes stuff. So anyhow, they wanted him to get a really good feel for genuine blues music. They didn't take him to Beale Street, which anybody knows anything about Memphis, Tennessee, Beale Street's supposed to be home of the blues. They took him to Clarksdale, Tennessee, or Clarksdale, Mississippi, rather, and sat in with some of the blues musicians down here. In fact, I recall, if I recall correctly, I'm not sure about the white dude that was the other guitarist when he was playing there at that bar in the movie Black Snake Moan, but the colored fella that was playing the drums is a drummer in one of the blues bands down here in Clarksdale. So, but he was interviewed after Black Snake Moan, and they asked him the same question I was curious of, is did he learn to play guitar so he was able to play it genuinely, or was that all, you know, sound dubbed in? And the correct answer is both. If he made a mistake, and it be an obvious mistake, they'd had to refilm, and I guess every time you say cut and have to set the scene back up and do it all over again, that costs lots of money. So they can get it done in one take and get it done cleanly. They decided to record it silently and have the guy who I guess actually wrote the song record it. And so they dubbed his recording in place of Samuel L. Jackson playing. But if you watch the film, because those are Samuel L. Jackson's hands and fingers on that guitar, he doesn't miss a note. They could have just gone ahead and let the cameras roll and there'd have been no mistakes. So he admitted that, yeah, he didn't know how to play guitar, but to be able to play guitar well enough, to, even if he didn't play it perfect, to make it look like he knew what he was doing. All right, we're on now 278 and US 61 and US 49 north, heading toward Tunica, Mississippi. No, I'm not going to casinos. We are just heading that way. Gotta go through Tunica to get to Memphis. But anyhow, he admitted that he didn't know how to play guitar, and the whole idea of learning to play was something he had to do for the movie so that he can go through all the motions of looking like he was a professional retired blues guitarist. So they said, okay, so now that, you know, the movie's over, so what did you do? You know, because I guess the studio went out and bought him and gave him his first guitar. And so they said, what do you do? Do you still play it? Just sitting in the case in the corner now collecting dust? And he's, no, man, it's in my blood now. So I think that's so cool that Samuel L. Jackson, just to take a part in the movie, chose to continue playing guitar, because just like the rest of us, it gets in your heart. You can't let up. So. Now, Brother Mike, I am driving, so I can't read your comments right now, but I will read them when I come to a stop. I'm about, I don't know, maybe an hour, give or take. Hour and a half to where I'm going. So, are you still in Ecuador? Because I missed a lot of what you've posted while you're down in Ecuador. And And then I'd like, well, I missed the live stream he posted this morning, but I'll be up to catch the one tomorrow morning. And then that next morning I'd be up and then there'd be no live stream. So I'm like, oh man. Mike 1, are you still here? Mike 1, come in. Mike 1, hello, 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 hello. If you're still here, send me a sign. Alright, that's here. You're still in Ecuador, okay. I am, yeah, I try not to make a habit of reading all that y'all say while I'm driving, but I can, little brief messages, they pop up just for a moment, I can read that just fine. If it's a big long message, I just let it go, just because it only shows for a second and then it disappears, because I got my phone sideways. I can't see the whole whiteboard usually, and but then I'll just be like, I'll see that later. So. Yeah, I figure that too, because you're so close to the rainforest, you just can't always get service. So. But yeah, the times, it's just the way it works out, brother. The times that you you do get service, then you'll go ahead and post, I'm either asleep or I've been busy driving or something where I couldn't tune in. And then the times that I'm up to tune in are the times you wouldn't get service. So, you know, it is what it is. It's all good. So. I saw the one the other day that you've got a guitar now. Is that your guitar to keep, or are you just using that guitar? Is that one you bought, or someone just lending it to you? I think it's pretty cool. You saw a guy out in the street with a guitar, he let you play it for a little bit. That was pretty cool. Awesome. So, have you checked yet to see what kind of duties and taxes and fees and stuff it's going to cost you to bring it back? Because I guarantee if you didn't pay but $20 for the guitar, it'll still cost you more to bring it back to Canada than what you paid for it. But even if it was just a gift, it'll still cost you all kinds of money to bring it back. But I imagine that had to be a happy day for you, brother. Just down there with no guitar, and of course every morning wanting to do your live streams and have your guitar to practice and stuff, and then one day, there it is. Like, yes, it's mine. Pretty sweet looking rig too. Alright, now, is that $60 in your money, your Canadian money, or is that $60 down there? And the question that I'm asking is, in your money, what would that have cost you? One of y'all in here is my wife, and my wife has this thing. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all look at a map of how the interstate system works across the United States, and specifically Interstate 24 between Nashville, Tennessee and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay, $75 Canadian. Hey, that's still not a bad deal, brother. That's a pretty good deal. If you look at where Interstate 24 runs across the map from Nashville, Tennessee, up and over Mount Eagle, it runs down just barely touching the corner of Georgia at Wildwood, Georgia, and then cuts back up into Tennessee, taking you to Chattanooga, where I-85 ends. Now, that little section where it cuts across the tip of Georgia is 4 miles. If you're going to take I-24 from one end of Georgia, or from one end of Tennessee to the other, you can't do so without crossing into Georgia for 4 miles. So my wife and I, for our anniversary a couple years ago, I took her up to the Smoky Mountains, because it's something we've always both wanted to see. I've been through the Smokies, but I've never been to the Smokies. You know, I've never done the tourist thing there. So I took Miss Elaine, and we went, got a hotel room for the night, spent the whole next day at the park, and then drove out of there. And I decided to bring a nice little scenic route back that very few people know about. And we had a great time. It really did. So she says, as we get across that section where it runs through Georgia for 4 miles, she says, well, I can put that off my list now. And I said, what's that? She said, I've been to Georgia. I said, no, you haven't. She says, I have. We just crossed the state line and said, welcome to Georgia. And then we just drove across the state line again and said, welcome to Tennessee, coming out of Georgia. That means I've been to Georgia. I said, but all you've seen is its trees. And honestly, if they didn't have those signs telling you crossed the state line, you'd have never known. The trees are no different than the ones on either side there in Tennessee. I said, you still got the whole state of Georgia. You haven't seen any of it. I've seen it right there in those 4 miles. So, in her mind, that's another state that she's been to. And I of course, I tease her stuff like this all the time, but we tell her she's right. But in my I've been to Georgia, but I'm not in Georgia yet. You know, that's the way I look at it. But yeah, Mike says it counts. But yeah, she's wholeheartedly stands on the fact that she has been able to mark that off her list. So here in just a little bit, we're about to go. In fact, I'm just guessing she's probably just about to Memphis by now. She told me she's listening in while she drives. And when I had called her on the phone before starting this stream, she was halfway between our home and Memphis. Ballpark or halfway. Which means by now she's either to or almost to Memphis. So, but anyways, at some point in time, even if she doesn't get a chance to watch this, knowing her, she'll probably go watch it later. And she'll see all the casinos as I drive by them and all that, and be going, hey, I've been to Tunica. No, you haven't. You get to see Tunica via your husband's live stream, but no, until your little toesies have stepped foot into Tunica, Mississippi, you can't say you've been to Tunica. I ain't giving you that one. I'll give you the 4 miles of Georgia, but you can't say you've been to Tunica unless you've actually been in the truck with me. And yeah. So, Brother Mike, I was wondering what you're going to do in one of these bird sanctuaries I've been to, but I've never seen a thrush. So when I got to see that one of those first videos you did of your bird watching, I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's like when certain people, you hear them talk and their face doesn't fit their voice. I was like, that don't look like the kind of, I would never guess that kind of bird would be the one that makes that beautiful sound. Because to me, he kind of looks like a crow. but he sounds a lot prettier than a crow does. So the plan for me, I'm not sure, Mike, if I don't think you caught this in the beginning. Let's see here. The swirl of doom. Oh yeah, missed the last 40 seconds. I'm probably buffering. I get between towns and it'll switch towers sometimes. So the plan here is to get the truck up to the truck yard, and then which I could have done this anytime last night, but I didn't want to. I figured I'd wait. I'd get me a good night's sleep and do it this morning. And of course, I got my camper van there at the yard, so I'll just go ahead and plug it in and get the heater going in case we need it. Because right now the van's not running. Tomorrow morning, what I'll have to do is see if I can get the boss's son. The boss's son lives there at the office. He's got a small little apartment there, and I'll see if I can get him let me use his pickup and go, well, no, I don't have to do that. I got the mama now. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I just had the mama run me up to O'Reilly's, get a new fuel pump. And after changing the fuel pump out in the van, go somewhere. Anywhere. Just away from Memphis. So, then Monday morning, just do it all over again. Stuck in the airport. So are you ready to fly home, or are you flying somewhere else in that area down there? visit, not far from where you're at, in fact, San Juan del Sur. Have you ever heard of it? You're heading home? Okay. SanJuandelsur. San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. We want to visit that little town down there. It's right on a bay, right on the ocean, and there's times in a year that ships bring tourists in there and everything, so it must be some kind of a tourist hotspot. But I didn't know this. There's people that come from as far as Australia and England and Germany to San Juan del Sur for surfing. Oh, really? Cool. So, but we want to go do the tourist thing there. But here's the kicker: I'm a trucker. I drive for a living. I don't drive because I have to. I drive because I enjoy it. I want to drive all the way down there and all the way back. Or at the very least, drive all the way down there and decide ain't no way in hell I'm driving back, and then get on an airplane if we have to. But I at the very least want to drive all the way, rent some little 3-cylinder car, easy on gas, that kind of thing, go a long way on a little bit of fuel, and drive all the way down there and make little notations all along the way of where to stop and where to never stop again. That kind of a thing. Roads to take and roads not to take if you value your life, whatever else. But yeah, we want to go down there. I've been told really, of course, all we can see of it is whatever photos you can find on the internet or videos you find some here on YouTube. But it's not the same. I want to be there personally. I want to walk the streets, smell the air. Yeah, see, that's which right now, she's got a Chevy Trailblazer, and once we pay it off, she wants a Jeep Commander, and that's what I intend on getting her. That way, we love getting off-road. I relay the house, big old 77 4-wheel drive. Today, when they made the, what was it, Silverado, and it's just an old rust bucket of a truck is what it is, and the engine's blown on it. It needs a new engine, but all the 4-wheel drive, the heat, everything works in it, and well, everything except for the engine apparently. But we love where we live out in the Ozarks, just getting off road. Whether it be gravel or mud or whatever. We don't go. Greasy Bottom Road is one that we really enjoy, but all those areas, all through the Ozarks, there's all kinds of places to go and take in. I'm not wandering across the road. There was one of those portable signs there that didn't have any cones or anything out for it, so I was just swinging wide to get away from it. Well, and I'd be a lot easier trying to find a 350, brother, except it's got the big block in it right now, and that would mean having to change the bell housing on the transmission while I'm at it. And also, I'm one of these, I'd rather just put what's in there back, except I don't think I can rebuild that engine, because one day I was driving home from work and something just snapped, and I'm thinking it's overheated a few times. When we got it, it would never, I mean, I had brakes, but the brake light would never go out. I wasn't keeping enough brake pressure that you would usually have in your hydraulic system, and I'm thinking why is because it wasn't building up enough vacuum in the engine, probably for not knowing it, but the beginnings of a cracked block. And when I heard something break and grind and snap and come to a screeching halt, I'm assuming whatever it was broke in two, and therefore it won't be able to be overhauled. I'll have to replace the block. So now there's two 454s that Chevrolet built. There's the 454 big block, which was a block bored out to 454 cubic inches. And then there was the 400 big block that was bored out and sleeved to a 454. The letter designation on my VIN number is letter K. And that means Well, see, I don't know because I haven't tore it down yet, but that's what I'm thinking too, is crankshaft. The letter designation K for 1977 means it was a big block 400, because you know there's a big block and a small block. There's a big block 400 bored out to a 450 and sleeved to a 454. So I don't care which 454 I can find, or even if I can find just a straight big block 400, I would do that. But the guy who we take all of our stuff to for as a mechanic there in town told me good luck trying to find one of those. So all your guys that overhaul cars, take cars and build them for drag racing and all that, good luck. That's all they do. They hit all the salvage yards and try to find all the big block 400s and all above, 454, 455, 402, 426, 424, 428, 429s. And all they do, they don't care what it costs, they buy them. Pay $1,000 for a blown engine because it's a big block and take it home and rebuild it. And those that aren't fortunate enough for that end up being crushed because the price of scrap is up. But yes, that's in fact there's a, I don't know if you've seen, there's one of my videos. I appear to be out in the woods and sitting on a tree stump playing. I believe the song was This Cowboy's Hat by Chris Ledoux. And yeah, 442, brother, you're right. That was one of the best cars Oldsmobile ever built, 442. But but most of the 442s you ever find had 455s in them, 455 rocket. It's funny too, because nowadays you mention the word Oldsmobile, and even people who are big car nuts go, a what? It's sad that Oldsmobiles get to the point that it's going to be forgotten about one day. I suppose the same thing with Buick though. People don't think of Buick as a muscle car anymore, but once upon a time it was. Pontiac, same thing. The way it goes. Yeah, I'll do something. If I can't find nothing else, I'll probably just find some old truck that I can take the short or small block 350 and the transmission that comes with it, and just go ahead turbo automatic or whatever they call it, and turbomatic transmission, and go ahead and swap the whole thing over, drive shaft and all, start from scratch. Cause I love my old truck. Even though it's a rusty old truck, man, I'd rather put an engine in that one than just get rid of the truck and find another one. But yeah, I couldn't afford to drive that. Her, I forget what she gets for fuel mileage. We checked one time. I think she's getting like right around maybe 18 or 20 mile a gallon, something like that. I don't remember what it was. We checked one time. She was doing pretty good. She was doing a lot better than the 10 to 12 that I usually get. She might even be getting more than that, 20, 24, 25 mile a gallon. I forget. But whatever it was, when she told me, I was like, no way. Let's figure up your math. So I double checked. Like, wow, that's a pretty good fuel mileage. So of course it's a little 4-cylinder, fuel injected, and she don't drive it too wild. She drives a little wild, but she's not too wild to drive her. I'm not one that's, remember the old CJs used to have that, we called it an oh shit bar. Could be the glove box because you grabbed it with both hands and go, oh shit, when you see something coming. And you know, she's not such a bad driver that I have to have one of those. She told me one day that she appreciated that, because some people that she's ridden with in the past would be one to be grabbing on the door handles and grabbing onto the dash or whatever they could. She was starting to wonder about whether or not she even needs to be on the road. And I'm like, no. I'll probably pay hell for this later, because if I could teach her anything to do different, I would teach her to do a little different with her lane changes. She makes those a little too abrupt for my liking, but that's her style of driving, not mine, I guess. I just need to leave it alone. I don't try to tell her what to do as a driver. I figure if I start nagging her, they 8 miles a gallon, holy cow. But yeah, the main thing I try to do is just I figure, hey, I don't see that's ever going to be a risk of us ending upside down in the road somewhere, so I don't bring that up. Well, I've always been a fan of Jeep products, Mike. The first Jeep I ever had was a 1981 CJ7. It had the 258 inline six. No, not an 81. It was an 86. I'm sorry, it was an 86, maybe an 85. 85. Yeah, it was an 85 CJ7, and it had the 258 six-cylinder with a 5-speed. Which, trust me, the overdrive didn't help. It still didn't get any better fuel mileage than the V8, which I guess is a trait of the 258 two-barrel. And then I had a 1982 CJ8 Scrambler. That had the 2.2 liter 4-cylinder with the 4-speed in it, and I love that old Jeep. Now, if you can picture this, you know what I'm talking about when I say Scrambler, right? CJ8. It was a CJ. It's like a CJ7, but it only had a hard top to seat 2, and then the back half of it was a small pickup truck bed. And yeah, I had that red with the black top, but the guy who owned it before me had gotten rid of the 2-seat hard top and bought a hard top off of a CJ7 and put that on there with the intention of moving the bulkhead back to seal it off for the weather, but he never did. And then, like your Toyota and your Nissan pickup trucks would have a small bed box, you know, just like the bigger pickup trucks have. That fit perfectly in the space that was left across what was left of the pickup truck bed. But then with that in place, you couldn't open the rear hatch. But so it looked pretty cool. And people would actually ask me if it was a CJ7 that I had put the extra piece of tail on there to accommodate that truck box. And I was like, well, look where the body line for the topper is on the CJ7 hardtop. Because once it would have met the metal body, it would have came straight down, literally 90 degrees to the road, straight down. If you look, it comes right into the center of the wheel. Maybe not quite exactly center, just to the rear of the axle hub, and cuts right down into the wheel. So now, no way, this is something entirely different. The CJ8, the wheelbase isn't that much longer than a CJ7, but it's long enough that it really makes a big difference in maneuvering over certain kinds of terrain. And that little CJ8 with that 4-cylinder, I've taken that thing places that I'd have been afraid to get stuck in that CJ5 that I had, or CJ7 that I have with the 6-cylinder. But yeah, of course now the thing is, the CJ8, just like anybody else, you know, they drove them until they wrecked them. A lot of times they ended up he said wrecked them. And they drive until they got wrecked, and then they'd end up in boneyards, eventually end up getting crushed for scrap. So it's hard now to find parts for them. Of course, you can find these fiberglass body kits and change the body kit out. But to find a good chassis and everything, the axles, and start from there, it's really difficult to find all that stuff. So the prices, if you find one that's in mint condition right now, be expecting to pay anywhere from $8,000 to $25,000, maybe as much as $30,000 US dollars to buy a excellent condition CJ8 Jeep CJ8 Scrambler. And I just don't have that kind of money. I'd love to have another one, but I just don't have that kind of money. So, the one I had, I made a real hard turn one day in the middle of winter. And hey there, Evan. I made a real hard turn in the middle of winter with my 4-wheel drive still engaged. And I turned off of some gravel, or I guess it was off of snow, a snow-covered, ice-covered road on the gravel, but the gravel had been frozen. And of course, with all the little pointy edges of the gravel rock pointing up, that just made my tires bite in all the more. And it'd be the same thing as trying to make a real hard turn in a 4-wheel drive truck on dry asphalt. And it snapped something inside the transfer case, and all of a sudden, the only thing I had was front-wheel drive. So at the time, it was middle of winter. I had the money, but I didn't have the time to fix it. The very next day, I had to get on a boat down in New Orleans. I used to work for Canal Barge Company, running barges up and down the river. I was just a deckhand. I wasn't no captain or nothing. But you have to show up on time. If you miss crew change, you miss crew change for 2 weeks. There is no, oh well, no, the guy on the boat has to stay. He gets off 2 weeks later and will hate you for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, you're out 2 weeks pay. So, and if you do it more than once, you're fired. But anyway, I had to find a way to get, I enjoyed it, I really did. And I had to make sure I got to work. So I knew a guy that had a Volvo for sale, and I sold my Jeep. I hated doing it, but I sold that CJ8 Scrambler for $1,000 because of the fact that it's going to need some kind of major work into the drivetrain. And went and bought that little Volvo DL 4-door. But the only way I could drive the Jeep was with the front hubs locked in 4-wheel drive high. But I'm like, yeah, but it'd be just my luck. I'll be going down here south of Memphis somewhere on the interstate, and whatever it is that's broken inside the gear transfer case will somehow try to engage itself at 70 miles an hour, and I'll end up rolling the damn Jeep all over the interstate. Probably I'm killing myself. So I figured I hate for that to happen to me, much less the vehicle, so I sold it and went ahead and bought that little Volvo sedan. But yeah, we love getting off the road. Even when Mama got this little SUV, we had a 2003 Taurus, and I give that Taurus to my son for his birthday when he turned 23. That way he'd have his own car, and went out and bought Mama the SUV she's got now. So when we get that one paid off here, I think we got 1 or 2 more payments on it. We're going to go ahead and trade it in. The same guy we bought it off was a car dealer. We're going to trade it in. She wants a Jeep Commander. So that's why I'm going to get her Jeep Commander. No more than get it paid off and go into debt again. That's the American way, man. So, but yeah, we like getting off road, going, especially where we live. There's all kinds of back roads and things to go exploring on. And some of them are pretty tame, but there's a few that even in a 2-wheel drive pickup truck, you probably don't need to be trying it. And we really do. We enjoy. I told her what I want to do one day when the weather starts getting a little nicer is get in her car, and we'll pack a cooler with some sandwich meat and some bread and drinks and stuff, and we'll just go back roading until we find some place nice enough to pull off the road, and we'll just kind of chill out, enjoy the day, eat. I always bring a guitar with me everywhere I go, so then we'll just sit there and eat, and I'll sing her a few songs and stuff, then we'll get back and do some back roads and some more until we realize, okay, we better start heading home. We can get home before it gets dark. And but yeah, it's with all the different, in the Ozarks, all the different rivers and everything coming down out of the mountains through there, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, all kinds of places to go back road. Evan, you kill me. Food is good, I swear. I like racing too, but I can't tell you, I don't know who drives what car anymore with NASCAR. I don't keep up with NASCAR anymore. I've never really been one to keep up with drag racing, the NHRA. I've never really been one to keep up with all that. I did for a little while years ago, but just what I really like more than anything, I like watching the winged outlaws. You know, these sprint cars. I really enjoy. I never thought I would, because it's like, yeah, to me, next to a car from NASCAR, the winged outlaws look like go-karts, you know. But they are, I mean, what they call 3-wheel racing. It's pretty cool, man. I really like that. But most all that is up in the Corn Belt. So we'd actually have to take a little drive into Missouri or Iowa or Illinois or wherever else up that way. Kansas City. I don't know if you start getting into Oklahoma and Nebraska and all them other states. I don't know if they do all that or not. And then when you start getting farther out east, in Pennsylvania and Maryland, all those areas there, their thing is modifieds. And I'm just not into the modifieds. Modifieds where you take a car and pretty much build your own body to it. It just looks like someone sculpted a car out of a shoebox. You know, but that's their thing. That area in the Northeast is the modified cars. Yeah, I just got where NASCAR has gotten so it's more of a bit, and that's why I stopped following football. It's not about the fans anymore. It's all about the business of the game. You know, it's not even about the game being interesting. Everything's about being commercialized, and it's all about the money and players. A guy to play football in this country makes more money annually than the United States President of America. What's wrong with this picture? Somebody over there having a bad day. Oh. We got a guy with a front-wheel drive car trying to pull a rear-wheel drive car out of the ditch, and the cop there, I guess, just make sure nobody gets hurt. Right now I think about Glum. If y'all ever watched a TV show with the monkeys, it's filmed back in the 60s, and every now and then be a little cartoon of Gulliver's Travels, this guy named Glum, and he always goes, "We'll never make it." There's no way that little front-wheel drive car is going to pull that Monte Carlo out of that ditch. There ain't no way. Mid to late 80s Monte Carlo, where it still had this big heavy body, the steel frame, ain't happening. Well, y'all, we are coming in to Tunica, Mississippi. Anybody got an itch to try their luck at one of the casinos? I would like to come down here one day just to eat. Talking to you, Evan. I would like to come down here one day just to eat. The thing about the casinos, of course, they always put out a really good spread, you know, for food. And people come down here with the intention of just eating, but then while they're here, they're like, let's try our luck. The one-armed bandit, you know. Yeah. Oh man, you know, when I was a kid, I went in the Army straight out of high school. I mean, I literally graduated high school one week, and the very next week was on the train from Chicago to Trenton, New Jersey. I took my basic at Fort Dix, and I'd never seen so many classic and old cars in all my life as I've seen in that Browns Mills, Wrightstown area of New Jersey. Wow. I mean, every kind of muscle car, classic car you could think of. I love them old cars, brother. Alright, so if I'm at Tunica, I'm probably, oh, I don't know, about 45 minutes back to the office. Are you still on here, baby? I'm assuming you up there already by now. You up there waiting on me? I think Mama left early. I don't know. I told her I'd tell her when to leave, or I said maybe just wait till 6 p.m. and that'd get her here just about the same time as me. And when we talked on the phone before I left the truck stop back there, she told me where she was at, and I started doing the math. I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I think she left early. That's all right. Miss Elaine is known for a lot of things. The people in that area where we live have known her for near 40 years. She's been living in that area that long. And but one thing she is not known for is patience. Anybody ever wants to get some attitude out of my wife, that's what they need to do. Just, well, Elaine, you just need to be patient. And next thing you know, the gloves will come off. She don't like being told what to do, for one. And she is not known for being patient. All there is to it. Mike, I'd imagine right now where you're probably on a kind of a teeter-totter emotionally. Part of you can't wait to leave, so you ain't been home in a couple weeks, so you can get back to your house. Another part of you is gonna hate leaving because you really had some breathtaking moments there. You probably part of you wants to stay, right? Guinea pig is a delicacy down there. tell anybody that in this country. In this country, they have them for pets. Done this earlier because I do this from now on. I'm going to do this everywhere I go. Any of y'all ever bored say, I wonder what Michael Kinney's up to, just tune in, and if I'm driving, you'll know it because I'll have this going. 2 weeks too short, I imagine. The idea is, of course, I'm doing this so that if anyone wants to do a brake check or something in front of me, or some other kind of stupid move, make a right turn from the left lane, cause an accident, I can prove that's not their word against mine. I can prove what I say they did is true. So that's the reason I'm doing this. But earlier I'd done one and I had the radio playing in the background. But of course I'm one of those that a good song comes on and I'll turn the music up, and then I don't ever think to turn it back down. And then another good song comes up a little while later, I'll turn it up a little more. And before it's all said and done, I've got the volume up as loud as it'll go. It wasn't 10 minutes from the time, after you do a live stream, when you're done, you got to finalize it or whatever and wait for it to process so it'll appear as a video. It wasn't 10 minutes from the time I hit that blue button, and I had 4 emails from the good people of YouTube or Google or whoever letting me know I was in copyright violation. So I'm like, well, excuse me. They want to get paid for me. All right, mama's at work. They want to get, I'm using the live streams as a dash cam. That's the whole idea. Right now I need, some would say need, some would say want, but for kind of ways people drive, places I go, I need a dash cam system that's got 3 cameras being recorded by 1 device. And or 3 devices, but then I would have to do all kind of fancy editing to make 1 video out of it. It's not about video so much as about being able to protect myself. I want a camera pointing down both sides of my trailer from the truck, and then another one out front like what I have there. So until I can afford such a system, because we're probably talking anywhere between $500 and $1,000, until I can afford such a system, and based on what happens here by the end of the year in court with that wreck I had a year ago, I might not even need any of it, so we'll wait and see. But until then, this works good enough for now. The side impacts, although I had one 2 weeks after hiring on in this company, a guy tried to pass me in the grassy median and bounced off the side of my trailer. But the majority of the road rage you encounter with people is directly in front of you. So that's what I'm needing this for. And meanwhile, it's a good chance to, talk. Anybody comes by can have some kind of entertainment. But yeah, I had the radio going today, and the powers that be don't like the fact that music that you bought, that you legally purchased, you didn't download it illegal or nothing, you paid money and got a receipt for this music. And how dare you go ahead and put it on your phone and play it in the background while you're making the video, just so you got something to kill all the emptiness and blank spots and whatever else. So, whatever. But that's alright. I've already found a way how to beat them at their own game. It'll take me a little while to do it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm the same way. Most people, like even my mom and dad, when they went on vacation, each one will get had enough to get tired. Here, you drive for a while. They take turns. I'm one which Elaine's okay with, although lately she's been doing all the driving because she knows that, and I'm in Tunica, baby, just so you know, so it's probably about, well, I've already left Tunica, so I'm probably about 30 minutes, give or take, back to the yard. So, I think it's 16 miles to the state line, then I got to run down Shelby Drive, so it shouldn't be too long. Anyway, the thing with me is I like to do all the driving, But here lately, I've been driving all day long to get back to the yard, and then when she picks me up and brings me home, you know, she's like, well, you go ahead and rest, I'll drive. But otherwise, when we go on vacation and stuff, I can't say I do all the driving, but I do most of the driving, and she's okay with that. So. A chocolate bar. Eating a chocolate bar. Now, you know I got sweet tooth, right? Why would you tell me that? Shame on you. Oh, yeah. Anyhow. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and get the van set up to sleep in the night. We'll camp out in the van tonight. Right there at the office, because I can't get the engine fired up till I replace the fuel pump, which I'll have to wait until morning to do that. And then tomorrow, I'm not sure what we're going to do to amuse ourselves, but we'll do something. 6 p.m. Central Time, y'all. Mike, that's 7 p.m. for you. Evan, I don't even know where it is you live. I forget if you're Mountain Time, Central Time, or Pacific Time. I think you're Pacific Time, aren't you? But anyway, 7 Atlantic Time, 6 Central Time, 5 Mountain Time, 4 Pacific Time. Whichever one of those applies. I'll be doing live stream tomorrow. Music, melodiness, and Michelob. I still have yet to sit down and send you that email there, Mike 1. I've got something for you. And I'm not done putting it together, though, but it's something I believe you will really like. And I'm sending it to you, my friend, for no other reason because I like it. Here we go at the Play Store, interrupting me. Like I said, I got something I'm going to send to you. Being a guitarist that you are, a music lover that you are, I think it's something you'll really like. So, I'm still putting it together. I'm not done with it yet. I'm hoping by maybe the end of this month to have it ready. I'm gonna, like I said, get with you, get an address to send that to. I will pay the duties to get it across the border to you. So that all you gotta do is go pick it up. I'd tell you what it is, but then there'd be no suspense, would there? I'll tell you what it is when I get ready to send it. Maybe. Yeah, I probably will. Get under there and get the fuel pump replaced, then see what my baby's in the mood for. If she wants to take a little trip in her car or in the van. Either way, we're going to get out of town and do something. Ain't no sense of going home, because by the time we get home, it's time to turn around and come back. We'll find something nearby to go amuse ourselves with, and we'll make a video of that to entertain y'all in the process. Go from there. I call that Casino Drive. This is I was going to turn there, I decided not to. The Casino Strip, they call it. All the casinos, Tunica, are down that road except for the Gold Strike. The Gold Strike is out here on the highway. I've never been one want to try my luck with the one-armed bandit. I understand how addiction works, so I don't want no part of it. But I wouldn't mind going down there and pig out. All those. I did that one time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I believe it was, or whatever the town is immediately west of Albuquerque on I-40. There's the Route 66 casino there. Oh my God! I mean the quality of the food is like comparing McDonald's to some big fancy restaurant. I mean the quality of that between other restaurants was just amazing. And but that's the idea, you know, you have the best chefs and the best cuts of meat and the best desserts, best everything. I'm a big fan of shrimp, and they must have had shrimp about 30 different ways there. Forrest Gump would have been proud. The food there just melts in your mouth. It was that good. So whoop, that happens because I'm empty. Trailer sliding. One thing I gotta admit I like in these big trucks is when they come with anti-lock brakes. It does help a lot. Roads are still a little damp because it's been, you can see the little bit of gloss right there. There's it's rained all day. It's quit raining now, but it's rained most all day. So by just slamming on the brakes, in most cases an empty trailer, you'll just slide. But the anti-lock brakes help a lot. I got out of that white truck I was in. That I'm still at the same company. That white truck was a 2012 Kenworth T660. And I'm not saying the 660 is a piece of junk, but those 5 trucks that my boss owns, they're all sequential in the VIN number. They're all set up the same, and he didn't buy them brand new. He just got a good deal on them used. But whoever bought them brand new, I don't know what their intentions were, but they didn't have a clue what they were doing. Then I didn't like them. But to me, they were junk. You get stuck everywhere you go because although it has 2 rear axles, only one of those rear axles drive. You couldn't lock the other one in when you needed to. So this truck here is a T600, also made by Kenworth. It's a 2003 model, so it's 9 years older than the other one. But it still has the, you know, the anti-lock brakes and the ABS system. It's all part of that. So it's older, but it rides better. It's more comfortable as a truck to drive. But because it's got the Caterpillar engine instead of Cummins engine, it's a little louder. Okay, it's a lot louder, but I don't mind. Go somewhere and we'll put something up here for y'all to see. Now that I think about it, the only video the mama has ever appeared in of mine is my very first live stream at the house. So we'll go somewhere tomorrow and act a fool, and that's the nice thing about it is with me it's no act. That's just who I am. So we'll go somewhere. I know, baby, let's go to Nashville. We'll go to Nashville, I think. That sounds like a plan. And just north of Nashville, Goodlettsville is a really neat restaurant. I've been wanting to take her for the longest time, ever since I found it. Come by there one day in a big truck, stop to have supper. Really neat place. If I can twist her arm, y'all help me out. If I can twist her arm, I'm going to take her to Nashville tomorrow. Too cold to do Music Row. That involves a lot of outdoor walking. Wait till the weather gets a little nicer for that. Now I can think of some nice scenic things to see along the way though. And wherever we decide we get tired, we'll park the van and get some sleep. I gotta be back at work the next morning. Mama don't have no plans till Tuesday, so she can spend the night with me again tomorrow. And that means I have both Mama and the puppy in my live stream tomorrow. Knowing her, she'll go out for a walk, go have cigarettes or something. But if I make it last long enough, she gotta come back to the van sooner or later. right now. He's out of his mind. I didn't bring no nice clothes with me. I don't have my hair where I want or what. It'll be okay. Although I don't know, I think she's got a bag packed with her that she keeps all the time for just in case. She can do her hair, her eyeliner, and all that stuff. All right, so I just turned off at US 61. Still heading to Memphis, but that would have brought me up over on the west side, and I need to be on the southeast side. So I'll take this across to Olive Branch, Mississippi. Come up out of Olive Branch, Mississippi, and where I work is directly across the state line, 1st Street on the I sat all day yesterday at that truck stop. I delivered there at 8:30 in the morning. Well, I arrived at 8:20, and it was 10:30, almost quarter to 11 by the time I got out of there. And I sat at that truck stop until 5 p.m. yesterday, which is 5 hours away from Memphis, before they said, well, you might as well head back. We ain't got nothing for you. So I figured, well, it's getting to be dark now. And I wanted to catch some kind of glimpse of that steamboat down there at Greenville, so I was like, I'm going to wait till daylight. Then I overslept this morning. Now, they don't look like it. All them, there's a row of white lights right out here in front of us, crossing my path. Of course, the road's about curved to the left, beside of them. But because of that, I couldn't. Whatever the last 3 or 4 messages on the screen was, I wasn't able to read them, but them lights are really bright. They don't look like it on the screen, but they sure are looking out the windshield. I-55, 12 miles. And I forget what it is from. That said right lane in. Right lane ain't ended. Guess I'll just ease back so I ain't got to make people pass me on the right. But from I-55 you hit in Mississippi, it's I-22. It used to be US 78, but now it's Interstate 22. And that becomes 78 when you get in Memphis. And where I work at, it's just off of 78 on the right. I'm almost there, baby. I'm missing something here. Get the van done, my plans for our van is primarily, of course, as a camper van. I want the ability, I don't cook, and I'm not a computer and edit video, or let's say you're camping, but where you go camping, the weather's shit, and you're stuck in the van for 3 days before you go back home. Then, you know, sometimes you can't plan for stuff like that. You check the weather, where you're going to be, and the weather says, you know, it's going to be fair. And then you get there, and once again, the weatherman is wrong. You're like, you got to make the best of it. So I want to be able to find a way to amuse myself for 3 days so I don't feel like I'm trapped in a metal box. But yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of everything in there. The mama likes to read. So when I change lanes, I see you got cops up here on the shoulder. Just sitting there for the sake of sitting there. But ahead and put some kind of small little bookshelf in there so she can keep some books on hand for whenever we take a trip at the spur of the moment. She don't have to worry about loading some up in there. There'll be some in there. And every time we get home, the ones she's ready to take out, put different ones in. And I'm going to set some lighting up strategically for that. I've got, for power source at the moment, I've got a 2,000 watt generator, digital inverter generator. I've got a 3,000 or 3,500, I forget which, I think it's 3,500, pure sine wave power inverter. I haven't bought my batteries yet because I'm still trying to do my homework on that. The gel batteries seem to be taking the lead right now as far as my desired purchase because they're the best of both worlds. The lithium batteries are the best you can get, but you pay for the best you can get. And I just, at this point in time, don't feel like spending that kind of money, $1,000 per battery. So $2,000 to $4,000, because it was originally my intention to have 4 batteries so that I can, have solar. And by the time you add $1,500 worth of solar on your roof, who wants to spend $4,000 for batteries? So I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Granted, now the lithium batteries have a life expectancy about 10 to 12 times longer than any other battery. But again, out-of-pocket expenses up front, lithium's not going to be my choice. But the ability to bring in 110 power either from the generator, from the power inverter on board, or from shore power if I'm set like at an RV site somewhere or somebody's house that I can run power. At the moment, those 3 are going to be my only options. And then eventually, when I can come up with the money to add solar, that, of course, all solar is a different way of bringing power to your batteries. Your batteries are still what's going to be giving you power. The only difference being, instead of getting power to the batteries from the alternator and the battery isolator, which lets power come in but not out, instead of doing that, you'll be bringing power in via your solar panels. And I intend on hooking up a small battery charger like you'd have just to, keep a battery charged when it's not in use on your lawnmower, a classic car, or some car that did. Anyway, so I'll have the ability, even when I'm plugged into shore power or have a generator running, I'll still have the ability to charge what I would call the house batteries and run off my power inverter anytime I need it for that. But I'll always have the means of directing power one way or the other. I've got a 4-position switch, 3-position, 4-position, one of them. Anyway, I've got the ability to move it into different positions to determine where I want power coming from and where I want it going to, so that I'm not going to ever short anything out or cause any fires or anything. So, I'm an old towboater, man, so that's where I learned that from, the control panel in the engine room. Alright, so I am coming up on I-55, baby. Not too far away. At the moment it shows nobody's here. It shows 0 in the room. But you must be, because you just chimed in, but it still shows 0. Type into your Google Maps, type in Nesbit, N-E-S-B-I-T, Nesbit, Mississippi, and that'll tell you how far away from you I am. Which I haven't come into Nesbit yet, but it's right in front of me. Well, it's in front of me and up north of me a little bit. And I'm right now where I-55, remember following me over to pick up that load of dock plates that one day? We crossed over I-55, then we made a left. And there was that Zaxby's and Waffle House and all that. I'm just a little ways south of there. baby. Are either of those gates open, or do they got them both closed? Pretty sure the one over by the shop is closed. And that one over there by Chuck's trailer, is it closed too, or is it open? I'll find out when I get there. Alright, that's what I need to know. Well, these LED street lamps they got are bright. Look how good the road's lit up. I-22, 14 miles. Well, that brand new white lines on this black pavement, that really sticks out even in my dim headlights. Wow. Just you now. It shows there's one person here. Everybody go. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to everybody because I can't really pay attention to the screen in some situations. He's at the airport waiting for his flight to go home. Although he'll be really tired tomorrow, he'll probably go ahead and still do his live at 6:05. So I'll try to get up and catch that. Usually when I'm driving in the middle of the night, I'll drive throughout the night and I'll pull over and take a break because I know it's getting to be time for his 6:05, which is 5:05 my time. And then after that, I'll either go back to driving or I'll just go ahead and go to sleep. So yeah, his battery's dying. Yeah, he's at the airport, so he got no way to charge it. The other times, if I pull over earlier, say I might go to bed as early as 10 o'clock or midnight, I set my clock to get up at 5 o'clock so that at 5:05, which again is his 6:05, I can try to catch his live stream. Although there have been a few times, you know, leaving the clock, alarm goes off. There have been a few times by the time I signed in, I was signed to catching his live stream about the same time he was signing off to go to work. Have you ate yet? Because I hadn't eaten all day until I got to that Love's. And I'm starting to get hungry. I could eat again. It ain't been 2 hours ago that I ate, but I've gone all day without eating. So, you have ate? Okay. Is it windy there? Because, you know, we're not that far apart. The wind is kicking my butt out here. It's throwing me all over the road. It hit the truck real hard, so I'll steer into it, then it'll let up. Then, of course, I got to steer in the other direction. Then it hits me in the other direction. I'm like, holy cow. I guess this is laid out somehow, some kind of valley. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's howling in the windows there, the doors. That's all right. I'm gonna do something a little different and get out of the wind. Shh, don't tell nobody. Exit 7, Craft Road. Shelby has come alert. And I never go this way, but she's like, hey, I know where we're at. Okay. I don't know how, but she seems like she knows. I guess her little sensor, little antenna. Remember my favorite Martian? Martin, his little antenna would start going beep, 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 and he knew someone was coming. Usually the landlord that lived downstairs. I guess she's got a little antenna I don't know about. So here's my plan. when I can come up with some free time at the house, which actually isn't so much about coming up with free time as much as making free time. Is to take that little recording device that I've got and record my songs that I sing and make a playlist of that to replace all the other music on my iPod phone. And then I can just play that and still sing along, and Google can kiss my ass. Needless to say, it would take several hours to do that. Basically, it would mean you'd have to be entertained for however long it takes to go through my songbook one end to the other. Or you'd have to be like, heck with this, I'm going to bed. Record them all as individual songs so I can still go ahead and skip around, play random or whatever I want to do, so they ain't always playing the exact same song list in the exact same order every single time. Would you? Okay. Which, hearing me singing these live streams or sitting at the house having to listen to me record all my songs? I love you so much. You've made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. Ooh, grind them. Usually it'll fall right in there just before the truck comes to a complete stop, and I can go ahead and take off without hitting the clutch. But sometimes it just won't be cooperative. You may or may not notice that's a sound you seldom ever hear. I talked to a guy one day, he's like, yeah, I grind gears all day long, but not as many as a rookie. I'm like, dude, if you're grinding gears all day long, then yeah, you're still a rookie. Every now and then is one thing, but all day long, no, man, maybe you need to get out there and practice a little more. That time James road tested me to come get this job, I didn't know it. He told me afterwards. I had the job before we ever left the gate. We got that old red, a red one looks just like this. It says Little Red Corvette on the hood. That's the one he road tested me in. And just for what it took to get it rolling and ease around the back lot back there, go up the top of the hill, pick up a trailer, and ease on back down off the hill and come back around to that gate, most people would be accelerating and then hitting the brakes, and I just kind of I forget what gear I was in, about 5th gear I think it was, 4th or 5th gear, just easing on around there, keep it a steady RPM, steady speed. And when he saw that, he said that was it right there. He knew I could handle the truck. And then when we got over by the place where I dropped one van, I had to pick the other van up, move it out from the way of the door, and then take the van that I brought and hook to it again and put it back in that door. And that took some doing. I had to try to keep sliding sideways. When he said all that did was that just reaffirmed his faith in my driving abilities. After I parked this thing, I know you said you've already ate, but I'm hungry. I'm not sure well, it's going to be 10 o'clock. What all's still open that I can find me something to eat, other than the truck stops, or your favorite place to go eat at. There's that Steak and Shake. We ain't been to Steak and Shake in a while. I don't know, it's Saturday night though, there's no telling how busy it'd be. Mama loves eating at Waffle House. They're open 24 hours. And I love eating at Steak and Shake. They're open 24 hours. Most of the bars close around midnight, so usually right around 10, 11 o'clock, all the drunks start filing in. Both of those places. Poor dog is going to be so disappointed. Goodman Road, baby. This light I'm sitting at here is Goodman Road. Evan, my dog just absolutely loves my boss's wife. And my boss's wife is one of the 3 women in the office. She's the one who's the main dispatcher there. Anyway, she loves the dog loves her. I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess because she's just a dog lover, so I think she has like 4 or 5 dogs of her own. But whenever we get there, Shelby just comes unglued wanting out of the truck. Unglued. Starts whining and moaning, and she don't get to the point of pawing at the door or nothing, but yeah, she makes it perfectly clear she wants out. And that's the only time I know for a fact I can let her loose without her leash, because I know right where she's going. She's depending on where I park the truck at. If I'm behind the fence, she goes to the side door. If I'm out in the front lot, she goes to the front door. And we'll sit there and start barking if no one opens the door to let her in. During business hours, it's not that bad because someone will open the door and let her in. But this time of night, there's no one there to open the door. She is going to be. I don't think she's figured that part out yet. That there's times Miss Janice is there and there's times that she ain't. And I don't think Shelby's done figured out the math yet. If you know your geography, honey, I'm guessing you know where I'm at now, don't you? Crossed over 78, and that right there on my right is where you'd come out if you was coming this way from Walmart. And right in front of me here, Old 78. Takes me back to Highway 78, which is Lamar Avenue in Memphis, and I could have gotten off there and turned onto the interstate, and then I had to make a hard right turn about 190, 200 some degrees to come back down, so it's easier to come the way I just did. Besides that intersection up there, it's got a stoplight, but it's under construction, so the lanes are real narrow. Got the Jersey walls there. People blind you with their high beams and their bright lights, and the ground being wet and water puddles everywhere. I just much rather not deal with all that this time of night. So. But honestly, even in the daytime, I'll usually find some other way. This is what I call coming up the back way, and because no matter which other way you come from, you gotta go into Memphis and then come back down into almost to Mississippi to make that turn where I work at. Whereas this way, I just come straight up in from Mississippi and make the turn at the state line. Oh, Shelby has gone into what I call her Spider-Man mode. Her spidey senses have kicked in. She knows where we're at now. Before, she kind of had a hunch, but she knows without a doubt where we're at now. That poor baby. She is going to be so disappointed. See me on TV and see me live and in person at the same time, baby. I see you. Well, I see your car. You see me? Alright, y'all, my home away from home. Give the mama a little toot. Y'all remember the TV show BJ and the Bear? Remember that? He had that white and red truck. The boss has one here. It's white and green, white and teal. Man, I'd give anything getting that truck, but he's got. I don't know if he's gonna try to sell it or what, because he had it out here the other day trying to get it started. This one right here on my left, I just passed. Let's see here. I can go up the hill the wrong way, or I can come down the low road the wrong way. Sometimes I can come over here where the boss's truck is, which is the black one behind this white one. I can back up the hill and then turn back around. There's your BJ and the Bear truck, except it ain't got no red stripes on it. He's got about 4 or 5 of them around here. Ooh, bummer. Damn it. I wasn't expecting that. That black truck is usually parked against the dock. And I was going to back up where it's at and make a right turn. Crap. Alright, so now we got to do something different. I don't want to make a blind side turn backing up. Which it wouldn't matter if I'd come up the hill. I wouldn't be able to get back down. So we got a little yard up on top of the way the earth's got a slope right there. We got a little yard back up there too. Not sure whose truck that is. I ain't never seen that here before. Oh man. And after all this, the gate was open. Crap. Oh well. Be right back. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just go ahead and shut this off so I can go kiss on the mama without boring y'all. We'll check in here in just a little bit. We still got Mike at midnight to do, right? Talking about food. Well, let me see what I'm going to do for dinner when we go to eat. I'll hop on Discord, leave you a picture of it. Alright, well, whoever's here, Evan and the mama and someone else, I'm not sure who. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for coming by. And, you know where I'm at. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and log this thing off because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have no issues with anybody cutting me off or brake checking me here. And I will check in with y'all here in a couple hours. Alright, for Mike at midnight. See you then. Bye.